Check it out. Way back when, throughout the ages, people have had the wildest ideas of why you can't get or maintain your erection. I mean, it's ranged from crazy curses, spells, charms, sexual misconduct. I mean, all that and then some as to the reason you can't get an erection. But today is a new day and age, and we have science to back it up. The reasons why you can't maintain your erection. That being said, let's break it down. Topic today, your erection, and why you seem to have trouble getting one or maintaining it for some reason. Fellas, it's all about you. Let's go. Hey, roll the intro. YouTube, what's poppin'? It's your boy Dr. James. We're gonna talk about erections, why you're having trouble sustaining it, and getting one just to begin with. Now, there's a multitude of reasons why it just doesn't seem to work, especially as we start getting older. So recent studies show that up to 30 million people in the US and 150 million people worldwide suffer from some sort of erectile dysfunction. 30 million people in the US, that's the size of Texas, that have an issue with erectile dysfunction. I'm sorry to hand it to you, but these three categories are killing your entire sex game. So your three major components consist of physiological, psychogenic, and drug-induced erectile dysfunction. Fellas, we can fix a lot of these. Category number one, the physiologic, or basically your body. What's happening to your body that's preventing you from having your erection. So here's the deal. There's a lot of data to show different disease states like diabetes, cholesterol, hypertension, or high blood pressure are all correlated or have some sort of impact on erectile dysfunction or the ability to get one. So if you fall into any of those categories of people who have diabetes or blood pressure or cholesterol issues, you gotta see your doc. You know, interesting thing about erectile dysfunction issues is that they're always a precursor. It's kind of just like a red flag of things to come. Some studies have showed that if you have any sorts of erectile dysfunction, it can be a precursor to 5 years later down the line having some sort of cardiovascular event like a stroke or a heart attack. So your inability to have an erection is probably a little telltale sign that later down the line you have the possibility of getting a stroke. I kind of like to look at it like this. You ever try to water the front lawn and you have your hose, but for some reason there's no water coming through, there's no flow? Probably because your water hose is all clogged up. Until you get rid of whatever's clogging up that hose, you won't get the proper flow. In order to get an erection, you need flow. And for those that think erectile dysfunction is strictly an older man's game, it's not. So if you're in your 20s and 30s and also having some sort of erection issues, well, that's a pretty big problem because it's shown that when young people have erection issues, you have a 50-fold increase in the risk of having some sort of stroke or heart attack down the line. So it's much higher if you're younger because it shows that you have a risk that needs to be looked at by a doctor immediately. So again, if you're young and you're having those issues, you gotta talk to your doc. That's what they're there for. Get some help. Fellas, as we get older, 72% of people who suffer from prostate issues or urinary tract issues also complain of having some sort of erectile dysfunction issues. That's almost 3/4 of all men with urinary tract issues showing erectile dysfunction issues. And in that case, you may see your doctor and they may have to adjust your medication or put you on some erectile dysfunction medication to help with your current problem. It's not uncommon and a lot of men do suffer from it. It's just a natural part of getting a little bit older. And also, lifestyle changes play an important role. So I'll do a quick little recap, but most of you guys already know that these cause an issue. But it can range from smoking, for example, drinking too much alcohol, healthy eating, and just exercising regularly. Those can be a huge impact on your erection game. So now we're on category 2, or the psychogenic portion, or things dealing with the mind that can play a big role in your ability to have or maintain an erection. You know that old saying, it's all in your head? Turns out, there may be some truth to it. You know what's interesting? There's been a lot of erectile dysfunction studies that have occurred, and in those cases, some of the men would receive placebo pills, sugar pills, that don't do anything. But in those cases, the male patient actually thought he was getting a real medication, and what happened? He actually had an erection, which tells you what? A lot of erection issues are all up here. It's all in your head. So what do I mean by that? Turns out there's almost 17 million people in the US that have had some sort of depression episode within the last year. That's almost 7% of all adults that are dealing with some sort of depression. The issue? Well, who wants to have sex when they're depressed? Man or female? And if you do have sex, you're probably not going to be able to keep it up very long, or you may not be able to keep it up at all. So if you have things that you need to talk about and it's building up inside, it's gonna manifest itself in one way or another. It may be something that you really need to talk to your partner about. I know sometimes it can be very difficult for us to come to terms with our underlying emotions.
Does it bother me that I wasn't invited to Michael's dinner party?
But here's a tip you may not know. When you mix erectile dysfunction medication plus some sort of mental therapy, you actually get a better outcome.
And as a man, I think, we get a lot of slack for it you don't want to talk to nobody, you know what I'm saying? That whole, what it is to be a man, being masculine, that doesn't, I don't really subscribe to that because I feel like everybody needs to unpack and talk, whether it's, at a therapist or it's, a close friend or family member or somebody.
Good. That's good.
Because mental illness is real.
As the old saying goes, you are what you think. Mental health is important in every aspect, but also some sort of counseling, group therapy, or even just male issue counseling. There's a lot of groups you'd be surprised about, and I'll also put some links below that can help you with your issues. Okay, so now we're going on to the third category, which is really important, but before we do, I want to remind you to make sure that you stay to the end of the video because I'm going to show you ways that you can save on time, money, and maybe a little bit of the embarrassment of having to go into the clinic to be seen by a doctor just to get your erectile dysfunction medication. With that being said, the last category is your drug-induced erectile dysfunction. In short, it's your medications that's killing your sex life. Now, it's no secret that a lot of the medications that are out there come with a lot of side effects. You've seen the commercial.
Reported trouble sleeping and vivid, unusual, or strange dreams.
Have an increased risk of death or stroke, or if you have uncontrollable muscle movements, as these could become permanent.
It turns out that erectile dysfunction tends to be one of the ones that are least talked about, which is crazy because a lot of these medications are notorious for causing erectile issues. It turns out there's almost 30 to 40% of people that are actually having some sort of erectile dysfunction issues from their medication, but they won't bring it up to their doctor because either the doctor or the patient both are a little bit nervous or embarrassed about bringing this up. Now y'all gotta stop that. You need to talk to your doctor. Forget the embarrassment. Talk to your doctor, let them know what's going on. That's what they're there for. But if you don't talk about it, no one's gonna know. So here's the problem. As we said earlier, a lot of people are depressed in the US and all over the world in general, but in this case, what happens? You walk to your doctor, you go in there and you're like, yo doc, I'm feeling a little bit depressed. What's the first thing that they're gonna do most likely? They're gonna give you an antidepressant. Problem is, your antidepressant medication is notorious for causing erectile or sexual dysfunction. So, if you're depressed and already having erectile issues, your antidepressant medications are just gonna magnify it even further. So what's gonna happen? Now you can't get an erection and you get anxiety or you get some sort of performance anxiety in the bedroom, which makes you even more depressed, which means they're gonna up your dosage of your antidepressant medication and make your erectile dysfunction even. It's just gonna keep going in a cycle, and you can see how this is gonna be a problem. So that's when you at least need to talk to your doctor or your pharmacist, and at least they can go over or discuss with your physician or provider medications that might have a reduction in causing those sexual dysfunction issues. So some of those medications, and I'll also leave a list below of some of them that can cause these sexual dysfunctions, but they can range from your blood pressure medications, even some of your anti-inflammatory medications like your Advil or Ibuprofen. Those things can actually result in sexual dysfunction. Not to mention, like we said, your antidepressants, and even something simple as your muscle relaxants that you take a prescription for. So if you're on any of these medications, you definitely want to talk to your pharmacist or your physician. Maybe we can get down to the bottom and prescribe you something that may be a little bit more helpful in helping with the erectile issues. So this brings me to the part of the segment that's really important, so you really got to listen close. Since erectile dysfunction is such a widespread and well-known condition that affects millions of people each year, it's something that really impacts the quality of life and actually those that are closest to you. Did you know only 25% of people who have ED actually seek treatment for it? Turns out, oftentimes, men let the embarrassment of talking to their physician about ED problems stop them from seeking safe treatment, and then they go and pursue outside or overseas alternative therapies, which is why Roman is such an awesome and safe option for getting genuine Viagra and other types of ED treatments through their service. So Roman's Health is an online telehealth company that through their platform connects you to actual licensed physicians through an app on your phone, tablet, or even your computer. So here's the cool part. From the comfort and the privacy from your own home, they can connect you to a doctor, and for a $15 fee, they can, if appropriate, prescribe medication that can help you reclaim your sex life as well as your overall well-being. I work at a pharmacy on the daily, so I understand how it can be when you're standing at the counter and everyone may be able to hear our discussion and be all up in your business about your most intimate and personal details. And yo, even though I do have a sponsored agreement with Ro, I only give props to the health products and health services like the one that Roman provides that I feel are actually going to serve people at the end of the day. That being said, let me show you how the service works. So start with a simple and secure dynamic online visit. They're going to want to know just a few things about you, like your lifestyle and your overall medical history. This gives your Roman affiliate physician all the information they need to make a formal diagnosis. Within 24 hours, the physician will determine if you are a good candidate for telemedicine and either approve your request or just reach out with any other questions. It'll be like going to see the doctor without the actual hassle of having to go see the doctor. Online visits via Roman cost $15, but through a special promotion through the link below, they're offering new patients free online visits. If you're prescribed, they'll ship out medication made by reputable and legitimate pharmaceutical companies straight to your door with free 2-day shipping. All of this in unmarked packaging to make sure that you always have the utmost privacy in receiving your items. So why Roman? 3 things. 1, convenience. They'll connect you to a physician always within 24 hours, no needing for office visits, no needing to take time off of work. 2, it's affordable. Your online consultation would be $15, although it's free in this case with Roman's special offer for new patients. When you use the Roman Pharmacy Network, the cost of the medication is typically half of what you would see at your local pharmacy. Not to mention, they ship all your refills with free 2-day shipping. And lastly, you have confidence knowing that your health and prescriptions are being monitored with continuous support from the full Roman team. You know what? I'm not even gonna say anymore. Hit your boy up if you have any questions. Till then, it's your boy Dr. James C, the Fresh Pharmacist. Peace out.